Now time for Friday Football Focus here on Manx Radio. A studio full of guests this evening, but we have some sad news to bring you to start with concerning St George's, and President Dave Saunders has sadly passed away. Tony, what can you offer as a tribute to Dave Saunders, the President of St George's?
I've known Dave for a long, long time. He's been at St George's and held the purse strings, if you like, with looking after the money, because obviously his career was banking, and kept a tight rein on everything at St George's, because when they first started out at Glencutchy Road, you know, it takes a lot of money. Any club that starts a new venture, you have to be very, very careful with the pound notes, and Dave did a wonderful job. And when I look back at people like Barry O'Hare, Dave himself, Graham Parkinson, and also Keir Morris, incredible people who put sort of St George's on the path that they're on now, and he'll be sorely missed. One word to describe him: an absolute gentleman. That's what he was, and he'd always make time for you. I've been to plenty of St George's dinners, and he's always there with a yarn to tell you about St George's and the people involved and everything. And it's a big, big loss. I feel for St George's. It's going to be a tough day for them tomorrow, because he was still in touch with all the players and looking after things there. And I know, probably on behalf of everyone in Manx football, our condolences are to all of St George's players and the family and everyone else who was connected with him. Alaman Bank, he was there in charge for a long, long time. And yeah, a really nice person has been lost to Manx football and to the Manx people.
And for any amateur sports club anywhere, it's often the selfless volunteers who give up their time, a lot of their time, that keeps the clubs going and makes a success of them. That's Definitely. The news that Dave Saunders, the President of St George's, has passed away. But on Friday Football Focused this evening, we're joined by the three wise men from the south, enjoying a very good season so far. Castletown in JCK Limited Division 2, and I'm pleased to say that in the studio this evening we have manager Gary Sansbury, Patrick Quinney, the chairman, and Paul Camarda, who you may remember from a few weeks ago. His son Jack had a trial. We'll touch upon that later. But gentlemen, your season is going very, very well so far. You're top of the table. You're in action tomorrow against Michael. What's your summary so far of how the season's unfolded? Because there are quite a few teams in and around you who are looking to capitalise on any slip-ups you could make.
Yeah, we did have a bit of a dodgy start, actually, because we had 13 or 14 players unavailable with one thing or another. So I think we had 3 defeats on the trot, but now we're 11 unbeaten, and that's down to a good attitude and some very good performances.
Lads have started being keen at training as well.
Yeah, we're getting good numbers. Yeah. But
good,
I think
good vibe amongst the team now.
Yeah,
really good.
It is good.
And how much of the success so far this season is down to Alex Crawley, top scorer with 20 goals?
Yeah, he's playing well. He's actually scored 4 hat-tricks on the trot. I'm sure he'll be hunting for another one tomorrow. So he's on fire. He's playing really well. I said we had a few weeks off with the weather and whatnot, but I think the boys will look forward to tomorrow. It's going to be tough up there. I mean, this wind's strong. I mean, I think it's give it similar tomorrow, a cold. Kurt Michael, it can be quite long, the grass up there. So it'll be interesting. It won't be easy, but we expect to go there and win, to be honest.
And why would you not be confident? Because, as I say, you are going well in the league. Let's read the listeners that table. Castletown lead the way, played 15, 36 points. Onken played a game more, 16 they've played. They're on 35 points, a point behind you. Paul Rose in third on 33 points, played 14 games. And Ramsey Youth Centre played 15, 31 points. Moran also worth a mention. They've played 14 on 31 points. So as you can hear, it's very, very close at the top. What is going to define this season? We were talking a few weeks ago to Rob McAuliffe from Laxey, and he was saying how important a good run of games is, and obviously these postponements don't help anyone. But do you really feel more of an advantage if you do have that run of games?
Yeah, well, I think at the time when the games were starting to be called off, we were lucky that we were still getting a few on. And we're in the midst of this run anyway, where to say we're 11 unbeaten now. I think momentum just keeps going, doesn't it? And I think we're couldn't wait for each game, really, you know.
Last couple of weeks have just been frustrating, I think.
Well, to be fair, the last game we played Jim's in the Cup, and Jim's played really well. I thought they did well on the day, worked hard. We could have been 5 or 6-1 up at half-time, to be honest. Didn't take our chances. And as the game went on, Jim's came into it more. And to be fair to Tony Sewell, his team worked really hard for him and give us a close game. Went through on penalties. And it just keeps that run going, you know. But I think, looking at the second division, as I say, 5-6 teams, the way it is at the minute, it could go up. It's as you were saying, it's keeping that run going. And I think at some point over the next couple of months, someone's going to play like a bag of chisels anyway. It's how you play when you're like that. Do you get the draw? Do you get the win? You're not going to play well every week. It's winning when you're playing badly as well. And I think, to be fair, in that 11-game run, we've played some really good football. But there's been 1 or 2 games where we've just got the result. And you've got to do that. St George's win pretty much everything at the minute, but they don't play well every week. But they still get the result. Yeah. And that's the important thing.
It's an art. You haven't been in the Premier League since 2014. How much has the top flight missed a club like Castletown?
I think when this year, it's, I wouldn't say crucial, but I think it's ideal if we go up there and then cement our status as a Premier League team, not become what defines like a yo-yo club, being up down club when we go up there. But I'd like to think we're a club who wants to stay there and become that Castletown team that, you know, are a Premier League club like we always used to be, top of flight. For we were the longest club that were never relegated until 12 years ago or so, and we want to get back in that position if we can this year. It'd be great.
You've come close to a top flight return on a few occasions. 5th last season, 3rd the season before that. Gary, what have you changed among your players to give yourself a real chance of promotion this term?
I think if you look at that 3rd place 2 years ago, when the majority of our team was 16, I mean, we got to the Cal Cup final that year as well. Probably a bit early for us, I think. We should have gone up. We slipped up at the end. Colby went in ahead of us. Fair play to them. They got there at the end of the season, but we should have got up there really. Might have been a year too early, I don't know, but last year we sort of lost our way a little bit. Had a few injuries. Richard Foden was away travelling, big loss. This year, I think the lads are a year older. I mean, tomorrow, we've only got 13 tomorrow up at Kurt Michael, but I think 8 of that 13 can all play Cal Cup still.
Yeah.
And that's the what. 3-4 years ago we said, right, we know what's coming through. Myself and Mark Thompson, we knew all these lads from 11. We brought them through, you know, under 14s, under 15s, and a lot of them went straight in to the first team. They didn't even play combi game because we thought we're playing second division anyway. The ability they had was good enough to play in the first team in the second division, and now you can see they've got that mentality in the game, match winning mentality. You know, they played a few cup finals. We haven't won them. Lost to Corinthians in the Cal Cup 2 years ago. Got to the semis last year. Few injuries, a little bit unlucky. I think a little bit more luck. We could have got to the final. Laxey did well. You know, they won 1-0. Great win in the final.
Yeah.
But I think it showed that we were close because we only got beat 1-0 by them. And I think this year again, obviously our main aim is to go up. But it'd be nice to have a good Cal Cup run again. I think with the squad we've got, we'll take some beating.
It's a very, very, very good young squad. You know, take me out of the equation as the old keeper. It's probably one of the best young squads that I've been involved in for a long time, and like Gary said, you know, that shows they're all Cal Cup. You know, the availability there. You know, it's
some of them have got another 2 or 3 years. And
let's give them a mention. You know, Jamie Cadwallader, Paddy Cooper. You've got others coming through.
Conor Garrett.
Joel Connor back on the island now, is he?
Yeah. Connor's back. Noah's back tomorrow for us. Noah Sansbury. So, but he's back to uni on Sunday, so he won't be here for the St John's game. But we've got him tomorrow, which is handy. Ewan Dawson's away at uni, but he comes back occasionally. The thing is, this year you got to have a bit of luck as well.
Yeah.
And when we've had people missing, Ewan might come back for a week. Yeah. Like say Foden's out with, maybe he might be away watching Port Vale, I don't know, you know, something like that.
or doing a cup draw.
Yeah, exactly. And then other weeks we've had Noah back, and the thing is with them pair, they can fill a few places across the back 4 or midfield. And then, you know, as I say, we've got people that can fill in. We have another lad, Connor Smith. He's a PE teacher at King Bill's. He'll be available Tuesday for the cup match at St John's, and he's had good coaching. You can see the way he plays, the way he kicks the ball. He's been coached really well across. He's from Sheffield originally, and he's not played a lot of football this year with work, but the back end of this season, he can make a big difference for us.
Let's dig a bit deeper to even younger players, because I've heard that you're set up in the juniors.
Very good
at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit quiet, I think, down south. Because when you look at Russian, yes, Premier League and the pushing top four, but they've got a few Douglas Butties that have come in and made them stronger.
They have, yeah.
When I look at Colby struggling, big game tonight against St John's, and I look at Castletown, you're not where you want to be. Where are all these good young players that you had a few years ago? Where have they all sort of disappeared to? Because they don't seem to have been replaced by people coming through, you know, the schools and stuff.
It's just, that's the frustrated side of it. But I think with the people that we've got in place, we've still got that youth, obviously academy, but we've got that youth sort of set up still in place. So hopefully next year or two we're going to have more players coming into the senior ranks.
There's a scutch of 16-year-olds coming in next season.
Yeah,
because of their age, they'll come in at the start of next season, and some of them have got good ability. Then you add to what we've already got. I mean, Key Collister's in the first team, 17, centre back, about 6'4".
Yeah.
Big guy, very good footballer. He'll probably be playing Tuesday against St John's, and he won't be out of place. He's a good player. Then you've got, as I say, the other lads between 17 to 19, all very good players. Joel's the oldest of them, probably 21 now. I think he was 21 last week, wasn't he?
Is that Joel Callow?
Yeah. So, there's a good blend there. To be honest, if you look at our older players, I mean, Paul is the exception. He's done a really good job. Done a great job for us this year. But, I mean, I'd say Ashley and Gell are only 27. They're only just approaching their prime.
Yeah.
So they're the senior players.
And they're the senior players.
Where's Jake now? Jake's
he's just had an ankle operation actually,
right.
But I don't think he'll play again. To be honest, it's not good, his ankle. So
I suppose the big question I have is, you may have a very, very good young squad at the moment. Sorry, Paul. Some good experience in there as well. But can these players, if they do go on and deliver promotion this season, can they keep you in the top flight next season? What sets you apart from the teams who are struggling in the top flight, this year? Ramsey, we've mentioned they've got a tough game against Douglas Athletic tomorrow. Braddon, Colby,
Royal. Yeah.
What sets you apart from them? Which, if you can get promotion, can you stay there? That's surely got to be the aim.
Yes, I think we could stay there, but I think we still need to work harder. I mean, I think fitness is key in Manx football.
The lads know that, I think, as well. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of fitness work sort of recent weeks as well, a lot more fitness for themselves. And I think getting promoted, I think it will attract people to the club as well, and more challenges, more opportunities for selection problems as well for yourself.
Well, that's what you need. I think another point as well. You talk about Royal, Braddon, Ramsey. I think at the minute, whereas certainly more than capable of giving those guys a game anyway. Yeah. And I think it's a good distraction on Tuesday, the cup match.
It's a good pointer for you, isn't it?
Yeah, and we'll see where we are. I think we're more than capable of giving St John's a game, and they're a good, solid First Division team now. And I'm looking forward to it, because we can see how we are.
And let's not forget, there's still plenty of football to be played in JCK Limited Division 2. We still have Ramsey Youth Centre to play, as well as matches Onchan, Pulrose, Moran, all those were postponed.
We have to play them all.
So, I mean, the story could change dramatically, significantly over the course of the coming weeks and months. How are things with Castletown in general? You got relegated in 2014. You've had a couple of occasions where you've challenged. Do you feel there's a sense of positivity around the club, that you're heading in the right direction, and the golden times are heading back down south?
So surely it's coming. I mean, the last couple of years we had the build. If you haven't mentioned it, the build of the new clubhouse, everything that's creating obviously more interest in the club from people outside of the club coming and have a look, have functions and stuff. That sort of new change of facilities, players take a bit more interest into what's going on outside of what's going on the pitch, and the players themselves, because the run they're on as well, there's a bit of a buzz around the place, and there's a bit of a feel-good factor going around the club, which I think is really good.
And Paul, for you playing for the club, I mean, do you get the same optimistic sense when you go onto that football pitch that you can do a job against anybody in the league? Obviously you're top, so the proof's in the pudding. You're up there with the best in the league at the moment. But is there anybody in the league that you particularly fear?
I don't think Town fear anyone. Like I say, there's a real buzz in the changing rooms at the minute, and because the lads have got themselves on a good run at the minute, they want to keep it going, and they don't fear anyone. You know, and I think it's in our hands to lose. To be honest with you, I think I know we've all got to play each other, but I think the way the lads are together at the minute, the way they're training, that they go to the gym together, there's that. I think they believe that they can go up this year, and I do think if they do go up, I think they'll stay up because the squad itself is so young and they're playing good football. Players should want to come and play with that squad. You know, it's not a squad of take me out of it, as I've said before. It's a squad that's going places. I think. You know, I do think they will go up. I do, and I think they'll attract players and they'll definitely stay in the Premier League. And like I say, Tuesday night against St John's is a real good point for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
that. And I think we're all looking forward to that.
I think, you know, looking at the teams that we've got to play, I mean, obviously we've got to play all the top 5, 6 or whatever, but obviously Pulley are having a good season. I'm not sure if they've got a big squad, but so if they lost a couple of players, it could, you know, make things difficult for them, but they're doing well. For me, the best 2 teams we've played this year, I think Paul will agree, Rycob looked like a first division team. They seemed organised and they were physical, tried to play a bit of football.
They did, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it fell into our hands really in some respects because we were straight on top of high press, and I thought we played really well against them. 3-2 we beat them, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Up there. 3-0 up with 9 minutes to go. Very comfortable, could have been 4 or 5. And then they got 2 late goals and that just switched off a minute. I mean, could have been a little bit of inexperience, but and the other team who I fancy to cause a few upsets would be Marown.
Definitely, 100%.
I think Marown, they're physical, they're fit. The key, you know, keeps them fit, doesn't he? And you know, Bruce does a good job. They're organised, and I think
they're on a bit of a good run as well.
They are on a good run. I mean, as I say, we had a good win against them at home. We've got to play them down at their place. We beat them 4-1 at home. Fair result on the day, but I just think that they are more than capable of beating anybody in the second division.
Yeah. Well, Marown are on the fringes of the top 4, but how important is that game against Pulrose? Because Pulrose have a game in hand, and if they win that, effectively, looking at the goal difference, they would be top. So you really have to be on top of your game when you go into that fixture against Pulrose.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I went to watch Pulrose last week down at Maloo. They more than deserved to win. I mean, I think it's 5-6-1.
Yeah.
To be fair, Maloo weren't at the races. I mean, they look like a team that hadn't played for a few weeks, but they look like they hadn't been training either. You know, they weren't really on it. But Pulrose did what they had to do, and you can't do any more than that. Priestnells are dangerous. You know, scores goals.
I think we just have to prepare each week, like no matter who the team is, the same. Because the games we've slipped up against are a little lesser.
Yeah, as I say, I think when we had those slip-ups early on, though, we had a lot of people missing. And we were struggling to get a combi out at the time as well, with so many people injured or away. But as I say now, if you look at our combination team tomorrow, that's very strong, you know. And we should have quite a good Junior Cup team this year, for the first time in a couple of years. So, all in all, things are looking good. But it's up to us to sort of bring it home.
What was your ambition at the start of the season? Because people will still look at Castletown, even though they haven't been a top flight team in 4 years, and say they're one of the biggest teams in this division. Yeah. So you say promotion was the aim.
Oh, definitely.
Did the players know that? Were you aware of that? I suppose you know the expectation that's put on you by the manager and by everybody at the club who feels that you should be playing at a higher level. Yeah,
I think the players are aware of it because I think they want to get out of Division 2. You know, they want to be in the Premier League. They want to be playing the big teams. That's no disrespect to the Division 2 teams at all, but you want to be in that top league. You know, why play football?
You want to play against the best.
You want to play against the best teams, the best players. And push yourself.
I think the thing is as well, like you were saying before about Castletown being a big team or a big club, if we can get back up, which would be great, you want to play St George's, you want to play Rushing, miss those games. Peel, you know you're going to get big crowds, always big crowds for those games. Corinthians, you know, decent setup now, that's where you want to be.
But the job at hand is to get promotion from JCK Limited Division 2, and Castletown in a good position as it stands on 36 points, 1 clear of second place Onchan. And there's multiple chances of silverware this season. The Woods Cup as well, you've got the quarter-final against Union Mills coming up. is that? I mean, if you had to juggle your team around to prioritise one competition over another, does it work like that, or do you take it every game as it comes?
You want to win every game, but I think if you asked every player, I think they'd all say promotion first. Foremost, definitely. So
league over cup.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that's the way plenty of people prioritise it, I think, especially in your position. Tony, there is a chasing pack. It's such a competitive league. What's going to be the difference between the teams?
I think it's changed a little bit from the start of the season, because I watched Castletown play Malou at Malou, and it's one of the most bizarre games I've ever seen.
It certainly was.
Unbelievable. You know, player giving away a penalty and then taking his shirt off and going off, and then players sent off, and players with 2 bookings and stuff. I think I saw the best Division 2 side on Wednesday at the Bull, Moran. I've sort of looked at them over the last 3 or 4 games, and I just thought they're going to play a big part in who's going to get promoted or who's going to get into the Paul Henry. I looked at the league table when I got home on Wednesday, and I was surprised how high up Moran were. And I've always said for the last few games that Castletown looked like they were going to be right in there, and Pulrose. Moran are right in there now, big time. They're a good side, and I think it's great because I think Gary, Patrick and Paul all want Division 2 to be like it is. It's like the Premier League at the moment. We haven't got a clue. It's a pivotal day tomorrow, and I think it's a pivotal day in Division 2 because, as Gary said, Ramsey Youth Centre, good side, but I watched them get beaten by Foxdale at Foxdale 5-0. And Foxdale didn't play particularly well. And when you look at Foxdale, have played 12 games. They've got a big game tomorrow against Onken. I watched Onken midweek, and even though Moran scored 4, Onken, Rob Callow, if he'd finished his good chance, then they were right back into it. So it's wide open, and I think it's fascinating this year. I don't know if you agree. I think it's good for Manx football.
I think touching on Rycob, I think a lot of their problems may be from availability as well. Is it Johnny Lund?
Yep.
Wetherill? If these players aren't available, it seems to just drop their level a bit, and I'm not sure if they are available every week. That's what I've heard before. I don't know if that's true or not, but
you got Aidan Cummins, Declan Cummins.
Yeah, there's more. Players. Yeah, there's obviously other names. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they have the same team, 2 or 3 weeks on the trot, and I think that obviously can make a difference, can't it? So.
Yeah.
Well, there are 2 very, very intriguing fixtures in your division tomorrow concerning teams around you. Onken at home against Foxdale, and Ramsey Youth Centre against Moran, who you've both cited as being 2 of the strongest teams in the division. I suppose you can only focus on yourself. Are you wanting draws all around tomorrow?
It's funny, we've just been talking about that. Yeah. 2 draws would be great. Yeah. But, if someone loses, it's the same again, isn't it?
Either way, it's two teams are losing points at least.
It's hard to call, isn't it? I mean,
I
wouldn't like to judge. I wouldn't like to put a result in for any of those games tomorrow. You wouldn't know.
The youth, you've talked about the potential in your team, the fact you've got a very, very young squad. Paul, you might not have been cited as one of those young players, but you do know a young player who's had a trial recently extremely well because he's your son. Jack, let us keep us informed. How did that trial go? What's the state of play at the moment?
Yeah, he was away at Preston North End, and he had a trial there. He had a trial game there for them, and it went really well. He's had some good feedback from them. We're just waiting a decision on that now, on whether they'll take it forward or not. So yeah, he keeps going. He had another knockback from Mansfield, but that's part and parcel of it, But on the back of that, we got, like I say, the trial at Preston. So he's done really well there, and fingers crossed something will come of that as well. So he's just got to keep going, and he'll get his opportunity if he keeps going. So that's all he can do, to be honest with you.
And if he's enjoying his football,
yeah.
It's full of ups and downs. Any sport, just ask anybody in the game. We've got a text in here from James Cherry Chesmondo. He says, a note of praise for Castletown under 16 teams. He's refereed them a couple of times and had no issues. A good bunch of players. So praise there again.
That's been good this year, because we didn't have a team at the start, and we got together with Peel and combined a team. So we would have put 15 kids not having a game of football this season. What Mike Sands and Jason from Peel getting together doing that, it was a brilliant idea for anyone in Manx football, putting like combining two clubs to make a team. I think it was fantastic. I think we worked wonders there. Some decent players in that setup as well.
Well, it's nice to see them get a game.
Definitely.
It's great.
So a chance of multiple silverware, new clubhouse on the go. There's a great vibe around the place at the moment. Would you have taken being in this situation at the start of the season, or is this what you've been expecting all along?
No, I think we've expected to be up there. I mean, when we started the season, we wanted to be at the top of the league. So that's where we are, and we just got to stay there. Simple as that.
And when do you think we'll get a more clear picture of the way the season's going to finish?
Depending on the weather.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of cup games to come in as well. And it's hard for Tony to get the fixtures in. You can't have night games at the minute. Maybe on the bowlers, there's a few going to get played. But end of the month, March rather, that's going to make a big difference, isn't it? You can
be right into the night games.
Yeah, but I think tomorrow is, as you say, it's pivotal. See how those two results go, and that could, like, you know, if On can lose again tomorrow, that might just have a bad effect on them. You know, if they win, they'll be thinking, great, we're still up there. Marown again, that's going to be a tough game down there. I mean, it's a tight pitch, Rycob. Both, if they've got the full teams out, I wouldn't like to call that one. I really wouldn't.
Well, Tony Mepham used the word fascinating before, and that is exactly what it is. Let's go through the fixtures in JCK Limited Division 2. We've had a postponement, Ayr against Paul Rose. That is not going ahead. That's been called off.
Wow, already?
But the weather is looking good for tomorrow, so fingers crossed, he says. Douglas and District at home to Governors Athletic. Malou travel to Jim's. Michael against Castletown, that's the one these boys in the studio are concerned with. Onken at home to Foxdale, and then Ramsey Youth Centre versus Marown. It's intriguing, and it's going to be intriguing for the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much to Paul Camarda, Patrick Quinney and Gary Sansbury from Castletown. Great chat, and all the best for the rest of the season, because who knows how it's going to pan out. Tony Mepham, as always, our Manx Radio football correspondent, thank you very much for your expert input in this evening's programme. And to you listening at home, wherever you are, whatever you're doing this weekend, make it a good one.